that song. I do. That's a perfect song for today. It really is. May, I'm sorry you're not feeling good, honey. I am sorry. I'm sending you good vibes. Very good vibes. Okay, so part two, part one yesterday. Hey, Lenny. Love to see you, Lenny. I hope you're doing well, for sure. We started out, I'm commentating on the interview room. Summer Wells' father, Don Wells, talks about his missing daughter. There is a lot of my opinion that I'm going to talk about. I love you guys' opinions. Everybody, we all have different thoughts and things on what possibly could have happened to Summer. I think one thing I want people to think about going into this second part is Don Wells himself is an admitted toucher of little girls. We'll put it like that, okay? He acts like it wasn't a big deal, playing house type of thing. When it began, she was 5, he was 12. He didn't know any better. If you listen to Don Wells talking about all the scenarios, he lays it out, different things that he was associated with in his life. That speaks for itself right there. That speaks for itself right there. Okay. If we really look at the day Summer went missing, what do we know? What do we know? We know nothing. All we know is that Candace, Grandma, and the 3 boys were the last people to see Summer. Hey, Twister. And we do not know. We do not know. And I don't care what anybody says. We do not know every place that Don Wells went that day. We don't know. We don't know that. And what's kind of interesting, I think Flies pointed it out, something about, Don's phone pinging, but that's not going to tell us what vehicle he was in, right? Hey, Mr. A, for real, we don't. We absolutely don't. Then again, he was 19, she was 13. Yeah, that's when he got out of jail, right? That was around the time he got out of prison. He was in prison or jail, and he came right out and started doing the same thing over again. He started doing the same thing over again. And you better believe that Utah would have charged him if they could. If they could have. They didn't go talk to Don or call him on the phone or whatever because he didn't do anything, right? The statute of limitation overrode him actually being charged for any crimes with young girls. We also know he talked about Allie's daughter, right? He talked about Allie's daughter. And we are going to go through quite a bit of my notes today. One thing that I wanted to bring out about, let me see where this starts. I have in my notes now, Benny had said that Lisa Kay didn't know what she was talking about when Lisa said that Don had come back to the holler with a substantial amount of crack-a-lacka, right? And this is what I have in my notes. So it came from somewhere. Hey, Eve, how are you? Good to see you. Did you hear me say Lisa's name? So This is what I have in my notes because I couldn't come out and say that Lisa was correct because I couldn't really remember the context of how that conversation was. But this is what I have. Okay. Uh, from my understanding, and I'll say allegedly because we don't know. I mean, we don't know, right? So this is just what I have in my notes. When Benny was at Ben Hill, Don left and went to Knoxville to Smokey's Crack-A-Lack and was gone for days and was considered a missing person. Now, I'm trying to remember exactly how that worked out, but they did file a missing persons report on Don, they said, informational missing person report. And, Benny had talked about he gave Candace the money to buy the boys Christmas. He says that she spent the money and didn't get him Christmas. But like I said, I'm going to say all this is alleged. I definitely am not calling Benny Keys a fibber, so let's not go in that direction. So Don was gone for days. Then Benny left. These are just my notes. Benny left, came home, and then on the 22nd of December, Don left again. He spent Christmas smoking Crack-A-Lack, running around with hookers and crap, coming home cracked out of his mind. Benny told Don he needed to go to rehab and that his probation had called wanting Don to take a urine test and CPS wanted hair samples. But keep smoking Crack-A-Lack anyway, mouth swabs, etc. So Don was a missing person while he was there? Question mark, question mark, question mark. They were supposed to go see the boys for Christmas to give them presents, and Candace spent the money. Didn't even go see the boys, using up the money, and Don going to smoke Crack-A-Lack, and Candace had a pity party for herself, drinking and doing substances, and Don knowing Benny would see it, and Benny took him to rehab, said that Don was still under the influence and liked the idea of rehab, and then demanded to leave because he wanted a cigarette in the parking lot. Benny begged him to go in and get the boys back. Then I have the incident of giving away the Crack-A-Lack. They said a month before Summer went missing, Don went to Knoxville with about $300. Now, I have to say this is allegedly or whatever. They said Don came back with a wad of Crack-A-Lack and went through the holler partying and giving it away, then came back to the house. Believes there was one transaction and spinning it to the day after Summer got gone. Candace had DV and felt Don was going to turn on her over Summer, again stating about law enforcement offering them victims advocate and them denying it, right? So maybe that's where Lisa, got the Don having a bunch of Crack-A-Lack. I knew that it was said. I just wasn't sure the context of it being said. Let me see. This is a conversation between a call to Tim Mullins, right? And I'm going to get into more of that. That is a call from Benny Keys to Tim Mullins I transcribed. There are a lot of really good points in it. I want to do that when I go over Tim Mullins. So I don't want to get into Tim Mullins today. Right? If you guys have any off the wall questions, you may think they're off the wall questions, right? Yeah, crack-a-lack. Hey, crack is whack. Nobody's moaning today, Genevieve, but you. Hey, the mouse. Poppy, Poppy and her red Mustang. Going around to pick up the gang. We're a gang over here. We are a gang. Nobody's moaning today. We don't moan over here. But I will say this, and people may agree with me or not agree with me. Dawn and Candace, bring Summer home. Bring her home. You know what happened. And that is totally my opinion. I believe they absolutely know what happened. You know, I can't say that they did it themselves. I can't say they didn't do it themselves, but I truly believe that they know what happened to Summer. I truly do. You know, for whatever reason, right? Don himself said he went to Knoxville. Well, he said he bought $2,000 worth. Maybe the 3,000 was another trip. Right? Don talks about Don is, I've been to prison. Right? Who talks about that? Who talks about when their daughter's missing, an alleged conversation, right? That's like, hey, yeah, my daughter's missing. I've been to prison. I've been to prison and I'll see her in the resurrection, right? And some of you may agree with me or not agree with me on this. This is just something that you know, I've always kept in my mind as far as Fred Hill. Immediately, Fred Hill, you know, has aligned himself being in the holler the day around the time Summer went missing. Also, we've seen Don Wells not even try to hide the fact that he was going to set Fred up, was talking about setting Fred up. So can you guys see, if you look at it that way, not, and I know that they're grifters, and I know that they've made a lot of money off Summer's name over her case and everything. But if I was Fred, I'd be wanting to know what happened too. I would be doing just like everybody else, trying to figure out what could have happened to her, right? Because he's still a person of interest. He's still a person of interest. So, knowing that the parents of a missing child have came out publicly and said, you know, hey, I was going to try to set Fred up or whatever, you know, I would be trying to figure out what happened to Summer too, you know, especially in that instance. But it doesn't help that they're grifters and weird and, you know, the things that Fred admitted to and what he got arrested for are not good things. And I could say this 1,000 times. You're talking about someone who was a meth manufacturer, okay? And when you get into that, there's many levels to that. Many levels. He didn't care who he was selling to. You know, Nobody's looking at Fred when he talks about, oh wait, hey, yeah, I was delivering some product and two of the people didn't show up. So everybody's going, oh my God, those two people that weren't there when Fred was delivering the substances. Oh, let's check them out. How about Fred was manufacturing and dealing substances? He knew a lot of people. A lot of people. Well, I mean, let me say this. Let me say this. Indiana would not stop the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation from coming to Indiana and questioning Fred, or coming to Indiana to give Fred a lie detector test. Okay? Especially when it comes to a missing girl. I can guarantee you Indiana would welcome the TBI with open arms. So, but I don't see that happening. I don't see Fred going and taking a lie detector test about Summer. You know, the thing about it was, like, I remember her talking to Fred on the phone in jail, and he was like, yeah, I asked him if they found her in the cave, right? Why the fuck are you asking law enforcement if they found a little girl in a freaking cave, or however it was said? I don't know. I really don't listen to a whole bunch of that shenanigan stuff at all, right? I really don't. Why wouldn't they have given Fred a lie detector test then? They gave him one on cotton, right? So, and if Fred was in and out of the holler that day or whatever, he's going to be on camera, right? He's going to be on camera. Unless he was on the same camera where they got Andy coming into the holler, right? For sure. Okay, so this is part 2. I'm going to show a little bit of okay. All right, I got to get this started because my mind is wandering. Pruitt said he wouldn't put much. Yes, he did. So did Pruitt. So did Pruitt. But then we can go back to, like I said, I know a lot of people don't like Fred or whatever. I really don't have any feelings for Fred. I really haven't listened to, I mean, you guys have to understand, at a certain point with some of these people, I just turned them off. I turned them off. You know, so, but yeah, if the parents of a missing child were trying to throw me under the bus over it, you know, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, I've got to prove that I wasn't guilty of anything, right? And they're all guilty of something. That's totally my opinion. They are all guilty of something. Okay? For real. Dawn and Candace, I think their life of criminality and substance abuse and all that other stuff, um, you know, that I think that holds a big piece of not being honest about their lives and who they hung out with and where they went, and you know, what could they have possibly done? Who did they let up on top of the hill? You know, who did they let up on top of the hill? No, I've never really been all that interested in what Fred says. Yeah, there is truth to it. There is some truth to it. There absolutely is, for sure. So, this is Don Wells having a conversation with the interview room. And yesterday we heard Don apologizing to Chris. Well, what he was apologizing for was the fact that um, Don was supposed to have been with Candace on the hill the day that Chris McDonough went up there filming. Now, Chris feels like Candace stopped at the dollar store and called Don, and Don left. I find that probably to be a little bit true, to be honest with you. And I'll say this over and over, and y'all can think or whatever, how you want to. I want to know, and I want to know exactly what Don Wells did that day. I want to know. I'm nosy, right? Yes, everybody who did not go up there, I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. I felt that a lot of the people that went up to 110, I think some of them were kind of surprised at the environment there, and uh, you know, it was crazy. So, like I said, he was apologizing to Chris. That was when Chris went down there and the Girls Gone Wild stuff was on. You know, who does that? But uh, I want to know why it's only the only other people that scampered off of the hill was Grandma, and the boys were taken, right? Well, that NDA stuff, that, I mean, that was a joke. That was a joke. In my opinion, that didn't have anything to do with Summer. They just didn't want people running around saying what freaking addicts and shit Don and Candace were. You know, that's all that was. So, I mean, NDA means that you're not, basically, you're not allowed to speak on non-disclosure agreement. It's a non-disclosure agreement. You're not allowed to talk about what was happening on the hill. Well, the thing about it was some of the individuals that came to YouTube that were from the area, um, a lot of it, was going back and forth at each other. Um, you know, things like that. A good example of that would be Marlena and Jody, right? Marlena come up here and said they gave her a lie detector test. Why would they give Marlena a lie detector test? She wasn't supposed to be anywhere around there, right? She wasn't supposed to be anywhere around there. Jody says they haven't asked her for one. And I'm sure if they did, she would take it. She would take it. But things happened in the area, and you know, they were going after each other. I mean, that's why a lot of people left YouTube. Is because, you know, they say dangerous things were happening, right? Is what they said. All right. Some have gotten close to what happened and have hey KK. This is what I am gonna say. and this is just me, a lot of the people that defended Dawn and Candace went to 110 Ben Hill Road, became their friends, didn't give one, they didn't care about Dawn and Candace. They just wanted to see if, you know, if they could find out anything, right? For sure. For sure, for sure. Got who, Genevieve? Okay, let me get this started because I'll keep talking.
Or when you... I left early that morning. Summer was by my side, and I left for work. And, I worked all day, and then I called her at some point, I guess when she was in Walgreens. I says, well, what are you doing, and so she said something about taking them up to the lake or whatever. I thought, well, hell, I might as well just work late because there's no...
She said something about taking them up to the lake, right? Genevieve, Twister said they never went to 110 Ben Hill Road. Did you miss that? Did you miss Twister saying that in chat? Okay, so Dawn says right here. Okay, let me back this up.
Forgot where I was going with that. I'm sorry, my mind went blank. That's all right. But yeah, they have ties with drywall, I believe, drug connections, and I know that their group was going out and stealing anything they could find. Tony Hammonds, 2 days after Summer disappeared, got busted in Kingsport trying to abduct that 12-year-old boy.
And yes, that did happen. That did happen, right? What good information, KK? I guess it would depend on what the information was, whether it was, in any way, shape, or form. Okay, never mind. Okay, so yes, Tony Hammonds did do that. He went and tried to abduct a 12-year-old boy. I know somebody in my chat yesterday was like, oh yeah, tried to say that, what was the bullshit line? Oh, that Dudley was in the car with Tony Hammond. I ain't never seen no receipts on that. And I'm sure when the newspaper article come out, it would say who the hell was in the car with Tony Hammonds that day. And it doesn't.
And I think he's in jail right now. I hope he's still in jail. But we got these detective friends of ours that are looking into all this stuff. They found...
I bet if Tony Hammonds ever heard about your story, Don, he'd be like, I wish he was in jail right now. I'm just saying.
All kinds of information. They've turned it all into TBI.
Good.
I don't understand exactly what's going on. Who do you have looking into it? I could give you their number if you want to call them and talk to them. I'd be honored to do that. What's their name? Michelle and some friends.
Michelle and some friends. Okay, we're gonna clip right through that because, yeah.
I appreciate that. So I have a question though. Let's go back to the day, okay? Yes. Unpack that day for me. When did you leave?
There we go. That day.
Then when the 911 or when you... I left early that morning. Summer was by my side, and I left for work. And I worked all day, and then I called her at some point. I guess when she was in Walgreens, I says, "Well, what are you doing?" And so she said something about taking them up to the lake or whatever. I thought, well, hell, I might as well just work late because there's no point in me.
I might as well work late. There's no point in me going home. She talked about taking them up to the lake. So what's this tell us about Dawn and the boys? Did he think they were with Candace? I don't know, right? Yeah, Michelle and some friends, right? Yeah, Twister, I understand that you got pushed away with threats, but that was from other creators, right? That was from other creators, right? There's the link if you want to take it, Twister. When you were threatened, it was by YouTube creators. Am I right? Or specifically, you were threatened by Dawn and Candace? Or a neighbor? Law enforcement? Oh, Jody? Okay. Okay. Okay, so Don felt that he was just going to stay at work. There was no point in him going home. But his boys were at home. Allegedly, right? And let me tell you something else that always stood out to me. Was when Candace says she took Summer in the house, or Summer went in the house, and she was like, hey, she said one of the boys' names, right?
Hey, lady.
Hey, and it was
Hey, I was just
weird.
coming. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just coming up a minute. Me and Twister was just talking in chat. He was responding to me when he was talking about he was getting threats and stuff because I was talking about Twister had some good information and stuff. I didn't want you to think Twister was talking towards you.
Oh no, I knew Twister wasn't talking
Okay.
towards me because he's talked about that in my chat before.
Yeah, but he did get threatened by them locals and stuff and other people, you know what I mean? And he does got some good information.
As far as
Like he's been in the area and stuff down there.
right.
He's from around there, you know, and I like listening
Right.
to the locals, people that's been there, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
and they always get threatened, people like Twister, you know, like Twister's not really out here tragedy pimping or nothing, you know, and that's the ones that get threatened, the ones that get close.
Right. No, I completely understand that. That's why I was asking who did the threatening. Was it YouTubers, and was it neighbors? Was it law enforcement? Who exactly did the threatening? Because what we seen throughout that whole time, there were many people who were from the area and went to the area that, you know, certain YouTubers did not want people getting content out of Beach Creek because it was their content.
Exactly.
Oh,
bingo.
Thank
Bingo.
you, Zena.
I love Zena. Zena's amazing.
So unfortunately, no, I'm not downplaying Twister and
I
what they
know.
know or anything like that, but many people have the same story about being threatened and
it's wild though, ain't it?
different
Like,
things like that.
why threaten them? They're not doing nothing. And
Well,
like
because it
Twister got
takes
accused of harassment, and I didn't like that. You know what I mean? And
well, you have to ask what was the harassing thing that Twister allegedly done that they accused him of doing that.
because the way I took it, Twister just drove by, you know, and people, that's not harassment because so many people
But
drove
how would
by
they
those
know that was
properties.
Twister? How did
Exactly.
they know that that was Twister that drove by them
Exactly.
properties at that time?
But Twister has some videos on his channel of him down in the area and stuff too. It's interesting.
You know what, Genevieve? Summer was
Genevieve, hush.
I mean, Summer was already gone. And I hate to say this, but really think about it. Nobody taking a dog up there a year later was gonna find Summer, okay?
Yeah, I agree.
Nobody going up there a year, 2 years later doing sound test. No, No. I
Even
mean,
taking dogs out there, like you said, that's pointless. A year has passed, you know, seasons has
and the
passed, you
thing
know,
about it
and
is, if they did that, they need to tell me that they were given something that had summer scent on it to even, you know,
mhm.
go with the
A year
idea of
later,
doing that. So, I mean,
I agree.
I don't know. Really, 29 years not
Happy 29
married.
years not married, Zena. Love her.
Oh, heck yeah. You
That's
go,
awesome.
girl. That is awesome. People were afraid the Wells would tell certain people more than what they. All right. Okay. Um, but and I get that. But you
Mhm.
can't, if Jody Sue threatened you, if any YouTuber creator threatened you, that is not Dawn and Candace. That's not Dawn and Candace. That's other people
I don't
not
think Don and
wanting.
Candace really care. They're like, "Oh, well," you know, because so many people has been by there for them, you know, they don't really
Right.
care, I don't think. It's the other ones wanting the content and shit, in my opinion.
I'll have to go back because I got a live where I believe Scott H was, this was a while back. Scott H was up there. We were talking about the area, and I actually showed this I don't even remember who this creator was, but I mean the video of the area, and it was freaking fantastic. But I have
Mhm.
to go back and find out where I was playing it from.
You should go
Like
back
I
to the
said,
very beginning and start playing really old stuff, you know, because it's interesting. Some of
well,
the if
then
you can find it.
basic.
A lot of people's delete it, but
Well, I would have to go back and play my own stuff
yeah,
because I mean,
everybody's deleted
um,
shit and
I haven't deleted anything.
oh, I know.
Um,
I'm not
you
saying
know,
you love.
but
Calm
we're
down,
talk
RC.
no, what I'm saying is though, that was stuff that I put out like almost 3 years ago. three
Yeah.
years ago.
No,
And
Zena, Scott H.
this is the thing about social media. Everybody wants quick, quick, quick.
Mhm.
And all I can say is go back and listen to my stuff because I can guarantee you what I'm saying today isn't far off from what I was saying 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Uh, you know, Don Wells and what he has told it. I say this all the time. What Don Wells has admitted to everyone on social media, whether it be true or not, it's always a really messed up story.
It
Seeing Summer in a motel, a hammer, that's the actual.
You know
He
how some people tell stories and they gotta one up everybody else's story? That's kinda like Don with his. He's gotta one up it, but it's gotta be worse. You know what I mean?
well, Don, what it tells me is this guy, this is my opinion, has a predatory mind.
Mhm, he does.
Predatory mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He was caught stealing a woman's panties out of her freaking garage, I think it
I
was.
remember that. I remember
And
that.
I mean, come on, for real. Look, okay, we can go back to what we know about, I'll say allegedly, but go back to when Dawn and Candace first met. She was supposed to be homeless. Dawn and Pam, from what they say, were opening their home to homeless women, women, especially women who had children. I mean, hello,
Right. That's
hello.
weird.
And so then, you know, Candace meets Dawn. They fall in love while he's living with his wife. Okay. They fall in love and they take off to Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
And uh, uh, I just
Oh,
want people to see. I think, I don't know. I don't know. I'm telling you, Don Wells has a predatory mind.
he does. I'm gonna jump back down, love. I just wanted to come up and say what that me and Twister was talking about. And I love Twister. I got a soft spot for Twister.
No, I know, and I don't have a problem with Twister.
Yeah,
I
I
just ask a
know.
lot of questions.
I know. But
You
I'm gonna
know.
jump back down. I love you. Thank you for letting me
Love
up.
ya.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, thanks, KK. No, I don't have a problem with Twister. I'm just asking a lot of questions. And that's probably good that you step back for your family, Twister. That is a good thing, because let me tell you why. And I know a lot of people don't realize this. You can go back and check it out. What played out right in front of our faces. We watched Don and Candace. They had lost Summer. They lost the boys, right? You had, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful to Cam and Allie, but look what we watched play out there. And they lost their children, right? And not being disrespectful to Benny. And I'm not going to put that all on the Summerwells case, because he was involved in a couple cases before that, okay? But things went sideways, and you know, things happened there. There's more. There's more, right? There's more. It was so odd to me that we watched these things play out on YouTube. So Don and Candace need to understand, when they say stuff like CPS stole my kids, when did you decide that? You were all appreciative of CPS. Did you not think, Don, even if, and there's no way that they took the boys because it was dangerous up there. They had reasons to take the boys besides that. Okay. My mind just went blank. I always have a really good thought. Yeah, I mean, CPS was the greatest. But I don't think he thought, maybe he didn't think ahead, that once those boys were away from them, did he not think that they were going to talk? Or don't mention creators over here, Genevieve, please. Don't be mad. I'm removing your comment. Sorry. I can't really say that. Well, yeah, I mean, he's been in the hospital and all kinds of stuff. I know I did, Genevieve. I know I did. But those are the ones that I seen myself. Not saying anything about White Boy. I like him. I watch his stuff. But those are the ones that played out in front of me that I personally seen. Right? Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Going home, they're out doing their thing, and just might as well just stay late and do what I can. And then, you know, my boss come by and make fun of me. She's not my.
Hey, wait, because he didn't put a time on when he talked to Candace. He guesses she was waiting waiting for the prescription.
Guys, sure. I know a lot of people talk a big talk, and then they come out here and they're just worried about their own agenda. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's funny that he says that because we could say that about you, Don. We could say that about you coming out on social media the way you did.
Yeah, well, that's what you were saying about me. Yeah, and if I'm wrong, I apologize to you. Okay. Well, that's okay. I mean, I don't take anything personal. I'm I appreciate that. So I have a question though. Let's go back to the day. Okay.
Wouldn't it have been funny if Chris McDonough would say, "Yeah, I'm effing Chris McDonough"? That would have been funny.
Okay. Yes.
I'm just saying.
Unpack that day for me. When did you leave for work? And then when the 911 or when you? I left early that morning. Summer was by my side, and I left for work. And I worked all day, and then I called her at some point. I guess when she was in Walgreens, I says, "Well, what are you doing?" And so she said something about taking them up to the lake or whatever. I thought, well, hell,
I guess she was at Walgreens. If he's guessing she was at Walgreens, then he didn't know where she was at. Oh, and don't forget, Hunter said Candace told them to be quiet. You guys remember that? I'm a bitch mama bear. Walgreens was allegedly at, oh man, what time was the Walgreens supposed to have been? They had to go back and pick it up. Hey, right.
I'm running to the store real quick.
Okay. After one. Thank you, Zena. And in another interview, and I know it's there, I got to pull my notes up, dang it. Because I can tell you exactly what time he said he left. I can tell you all of that. Hold on. It was like he said he got up like at 6. Hold on, damn it. I could kick myself in the butt. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Don said he got up about 6. And with Don, anytime he was talking about an actual time frame, he would give himself a whole hour. He would give himself like an hour leeway there. It's freaking weird. That's one thing I did notice, that he did that. He'd be like, I got up about 6 o'clock. Could have left, I don't know, maybe around 8 o'clock. I don't know what time it was. I get up when the sun comes up, and I go home when it gets dark. That's what he says, basically. That is what old Donnie says. Da, 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 da. Okay. Let me play this while I look here. Hold on.
Might as well just work late because there's no point in me going home. They're out doing their thing, and there's just might as well just stay late and do what I can. And then, my boss come by and make fun of me. She's about my car. So I was using that brand new car for drywall and give me a hard time about that. I was talking to her. Now, you said Summer was by your side. What does that mean? She was asleep by my side when I woke up. Okay, got it. And what
now, the other conversation, he described Summer's little foot being under his back. Now, you know, I not that I know if stuff's true or not, but you know, Candace was like, Donnie sleeps in the nude, right? He says Summer had to be by me. She slept with me for 5 years. Hey, Angel. Right? Remember what I was mentioning, the way that what my opinion is with Don Wells in his mind, right? For sure. And I'm going to find it, dang it.
Yeah.
What time was that approximately?
I'd say about 7,
Okay.
maybe earlier, 6:30 or 7, somewhere in there.
Okay. And
Yeah, she had to be by me. She just had to be by me.
That's her personality.
Yeah.
Nutcracker,
Oh,
Magic
hold
of
on,
Christmas.
Quiz. Hold on, Quiz. Quiz has got an ad. Nothing wrong with that, brother. At all. It is sick. How many times was Candace passed out upstairs? I don't know, but if I had $1, for every time she was, I would have money right now. I'm just saying. Thank you, Poppy. Okay. Summer's got to sleep with him.
She loves me to death. I could say just one harsh word to her and she would break down. I'd have to apologize for it to her 10 times over.
That statement bothers me a lot. It really does. Let me play that again.
Saying about me.
Yeah, and if I'm wrong, I apologize to you. Okay.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I don't take anything personal. I'm
Sure. I appreciate that.
So I have a question though. Let's go back to the day. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Unpack that day for me. When did you leave for work? And then when the 911 or when you?
I left early that morning. Summer was by my side, and I left for work. And I worked all day, and then I called her at some point. I guess when she was in Walgreens, I says, "Well, what are you doing?"
He definitely very quickly goes from going to work and to when the phone call at what he thinks is Walgreens, right? He went straight to that. He didn't say, I went to work. I had some breakfast. Well, he does say that in the other interview. Damn it. Damn it, y'all. I'm trying to get to it. Give me a second. I'll get to the damn thing. Because it's like fucking... I hear something outside. Oh, it's Chad. I think this is it. I want to go with this. Here it is. Okay, I think I have 2 of them though. Okay. This is what, okay. Now, this is weird because, okay. Okay. This is what I have a lot. These are just some notes on this interview. So, Don wasn't happy with the interview with Candace. The example of Don being in the shed. He said he was away 40 minutes working. Candace called and almost wrecked. And he was desperate to get home. 40 minutes, frustrated, law enforcement not on the scene yet. Story repeated and keeps getting crazier. religious beliefs, criminal history. Candace doesn't lie to him. That's what he said. We can get into all of that. All of it. For real. You want to talk about Don and his religious beliefs and, you know, you can totally start a channel and only talk about that if you want. All right, be careful. Right? Yeah, the criminal history. It's out there. Don has a criminal history. He does. And it's pretty freaking creepy, you know. You want, you know, theft or whatever, but you're stealing women's panties. You're stealing women's panties. I mean, creepy. Creepy man. Let me get to the meat and potatoes of this. Okay, it's my timeline. It's a whole chapter, but it's called something the script or something. Yes, I named my chapters, people. Believe it or not. And they're not called Don B or whoever heck else that preacher guy. I seen what he was doing though, for real. I absolutely seen what he was doing. It's just people got mad at him about it. I think people got mad at the preacher guy because some of the creators that he talked about in his book and their theories or whatever, you know, one of those people were Don B. And a lot of people were like, oh no, not Don B. Okay. I apologize, you guys. I even wrote down page numbers and I'm still looking for. Okay. I need to find that timeline. What'd you do with the timeline, Remain? I'm so weird. I love to just write. I really do. People can make fun of it and call me a book writer. I don't talk about it very much because I know y'all are like, oh, fuck the book writer. Writing a book. Well, let me tell you. It'll be a freaking fantastic one if it ever happens. For sure. All right, let's listen some more.
You know, and so she said something about taking them up to the lake or whatever. I thought, well, hell, I might as well just work late because there's no point in me going home. They're out doing their thing, and there's just, I might as well just stay late and do what I can. And then, you know, my boss come by and make fun of me. She's about my car. So I was using that brand new car for drywall and giving me a hard time about that.
Okay, Don puts a lot of filler in there. You know, Don would be like, yeah, I was, you know, leaving the dollar store and there was a woman and, you know, she was walking into the store and you know, Don, yeah, for real.
You know, I was talking to her.
Now, you said Summer was by your side. What does that mean?
Oh, no.
She was asleep by my side when I woke up.
Okay, got it. And what time was that approximately?
I'd say about 7.
Okay.
Maybe earlier. 7, somewhere in there.
Okay, and
yeah, she had to be by me. She just had to be by me.
That's her personality.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she loves me to death. I could say just one harsh word to her and she would break down. I'd have to apologize for it to her 10 times over.
Right.
I mean,
that's the statement right there. that's a, if you take oh, I don't even know how to say this. That could totally be something different than how he's putting it out there. Right? Yeah, story time with Dawn, right? I know there's a lot of people that have told me that are or were friends with Candace that they did not like Dawn either. They didn't like Dawn either. So, you know, Benny Keys himself said that at one time he thought he was going to have to do something to Dawn Wells. It's out there. It's over on shares. I mean, I think Dawn, one of the times Dawn took off, Benny was there. If I remember correctly. Right? Remember Jose saying that the they got into it because he went and got shower out of the shower with Dawn, right? Now, I don't know, Jose. Not at all. But if I remember correctly, that one of the creators' platforms he went on had him watch a couple of I don't know if they were YouTube videos or what. Right? And that's what he said. So, I don't know, because allegedly Jose was very upset that Candace dropped that restraining order. Jose was upset with that. Jose said he just comforted Candace. That's all he did. Held her while she cried. Right? They kind of did go flopping around state to state quite a bit, though, didn't they? I wonder. Okay, so Don came to Tennessee because his mom was sick and needed somebody to take care of her. Jody said that he didn't do it. Other people did. Then we heard this crazy story. Somebody tell me they remember this story about allegedly Don's mom would call law enforcement and tell them something about the basement, hearing voices, I don't know. And I don't remember. But he said that Don had a, I don't know. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. Don supposedly had a recorder or something in the basement. Was he trying to drive her cray-cray? That's weird shit, y'all. Who does that? If it's true. I don't know if it's true. Poppy calls bullshit. That was weird. Fred told that story, didn't he? Fred told that story, I think. I'm not going back to look. But somewhere I think Fred told that story. Damn, Fred. Was Fred a little bit paranoid? I mean, he went immediately to recording devices and all kinds of shit, right? Funny. Yeah, she was a prepper. Yep, she was a prepper. Don't blame her. Don't blame her. My opinion, when you take out a restraining order the way it was told, shouldn't be able to be dropped. It could have kept Summer from going missing. Well, that's a good opinion, Debbie. Absolutely great opinion. So she sure did. She dropped that restraining order. And if you hear Don talk about it, he's like, oh, she said she was sorry, right? She said she was sorry. She even went to the judge and told the judge, right? Yep, that's what Don said. And you have to think, though, too, they do all that crazy DV shit. But where was Candace going to go? Don was making the money. Candace wasn't making no money, right? I mean, Grandma was there. I'm sure she helped. Right? Crazy. But this, the way that, and it's just me how I feel, the way that he has spoke about Summer is, all of it is, freaking, yeah.
I mean, it just kills me that she's gone.
And
I literally,
her room was right next door to yours too.
yeah, and we tried to make her sleep in her own bed, and she'd come to me with big tears in her eyes and say, "But Daddy, I want to sleep with you. I want to be with you." And I couldn't say no. I just couldn't.
And how long has she been doing that?
For 5 years.
Wow.
All her life.
Every night?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's a bond.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. And so walk me through it. What time do you get up, and what do you remember last about seeing Summer?
All I remember is when I woke up is her feet and her foot being under me, kind of, you know. I remember her being there, and I covered her up a little bit or whatever and left, and she sleeps just right between me and Mom every night, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I just went to work, normal day.
Well, you this is the thing. Honestly, tell me. Hearing him talk about Summer sleeping in the bed or whatever between him and Candace or whatever, even with Summer being 5, would that be odd? Look how dark that basement was. Look how dark that basement was. Could you imagine being in that basement in the pitch black? I'm serious. Serious. But what makes it creepy is because we're looking at a guy that has a, you know, the thoughts in his head. Well, that's the creepy thing, right? Because he, you know, verbally expresses thoughts in his head. What about the thoughts that he's not verbally expressing? How about that? There's a question for you. There's a question for you. Well put, Renee Calm. Thank you, lady. cool. Yep. That's with a lot of these, you know, nasty, evil people in the world. For sure. And, you know, honestly, you guys, I don't spend a lot of time watching true crime stuff anymore. I'm finding me a movie or something for real. She went to Dee Dee's house a lot after Summer come up missing. Well, Dee Dee was her friend. Dee Dee was her friend. Rest in peace, Dee Dee. So, for real. I don't know what happened to her. I'm just saying. There's other people talking about it. Okay.
Luckily, you know, I guess that a couple of guys I talked to that day, and the big boss seen me that day, knew, you know, knows where I was. And it wasn't 30 minutes, 40 minutes after Jamie left. From we sat there and talked for 30 minutes, just sit there and talk, you know.
Now,
After he left.
okay.
Jamie's he's another finisher that was working out here.
Got it. So, so you.
And I will say, I do remember something about, you know, they kind of went to bat for Dawn and, you know, said that, you know, about Dawn bringing the boys to work, and they, from what they seen of Dawn, he was a good dad or whatever. Yeah, that's out there somewhere. I can't remember where it's at because, you know, I didn't really pay attention to that.
You leave the house. What car do you take that day? I forget.
I had the Subaru that day.
Okay. Well, yeah. Why didn't you take your truck that day? People are going to ask.
Well, because the car was just sitting there, and I'm paying these payments, you know, $600 a month plus the insurance, you know, and it's just sitting there. And I thought, well, I might as well get some use out of it. And I threw all my tools in there and started driving it for a little while, just because, you know.
Yeah.
I always wondered if maybe he drove the truck because of CPS. But then, I mean, he acts like he was there on the 14th when CPS came. Right? And you do have to look at the fact too, that Summer was getting ready to go to school. Summer was getting ready to go to school. Right? I think I don't know. I mean, yeah. So maybe they felt that Summer would get into kindergarten or first grade, kindergarten, I'm assuming, and start talking. We can see that, right? You thought CPS was coming back on the 15th. From my understanding, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's factual or not. Because Dawn said they closed the case on the 14th, right? When they came out there, they closed the case, is what he said. So, it just sounded, this is what it sounded like to me. And let me tell you guys, there are people out there like this, that they get pissed off at a parent, and what's the most fucked up thing you can do to a parent? Call CPS. Right? So it kind of sounded like that to me. There's so many stories that's been told by people that you have to say, why didn't you call CPS? Why didn't you call an ambulance? Why didn't you call not, why didn't you just call somebody? And let me tell you this. I do know that Allie's mother, Sherry, sat on a live or whatever with Molly and JLR and stated that one of her grandkids or something, there was alcohol and Don Wells in that scenario. And I'm like, why are you, it's like, did you call CPS? What if they called CPS then, but then CPS isn't going to call them and be like, hey, we contacted her, right? I wouldn't be calling CPS. I'd be calling the police, ma'am. I would be calling the police. And CPS.
And so,
Mainly product. Yeah. Go ahead.
so you take the truck or the car.
No,
How far away is your job? What are you doing?
It is 45 minutes away in Jonesboro.
All right.
Yeah.
And then what time do you get there? Do you remember?
I probably went and had some breakfast, somewhere or whatever, and come out here. I don't remember for sure. No, I don't.
Okay. What time do you call Candace, if you remember? I'm just trying to figure out the timeline and the window.
I'm trying to think. I'd say, maybe 3 o'clock or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not sure of that at all.
And where was she when you called her? Do you know?
So I think she said she was either at Walgreens or headed to the lake, or I can't remember.
Okay.
But that's why I thought, well, I might as well just stay and work because, that's just what I do. But,
yeah, I mean, so when.
Sorry, Chad's at the grocery store. Hey, Benita girl. Okay. Has anyone thought that Don could have hidden Summer away from Candace for her calling law enforcement because he said he knew? Yes. Yes, you're reading my mind on that. You are reading my mind on that. Right? With him saying that, and he said it more than once, that something was going to happen to Summer under Candace's watch. Under Candace's watch. He always felt something was going to happen. He takes himself kind of right out of it, doesn't he? Yep. That always did. I'm glad you said that, Dev. That always stood out to me. Always. That's what I always said. What happened to her? What happened to her? I don't know. I think this is just my opinion. They're two really messed up people. They're just messed up people. Really messed up. And now their kids are all gone and they only have each other. And it's very interesting that they didn't want to make a comment on where law enforcement was searching last. They didn't want to come out and because it would all be games. I mean, you can look at it like that. don't want to play the YouTube stuff anymore. But I think he could have came out and made a statement on the Find Summer Wells, you know. The PR guy isn't doing his job, is he? Let me tell you guys this. I have a conversation that I think Ernie had with Dawn. I don't know. There was, you know, okay, anywho, it could have been Ziggy, whatever. I got to find it again, but, and I lost my train of thought. I do that all the time. Somebody reel me back in real quick. In Summer's case, you can start talking about one thing, and I mean, let me tell you guys something. Not knowing what happened to this little girl and everything that we've seen of her environment and, you know, interactions with certain people, and it's going to take you in 1,000 different directions. 1,000 different directions. But you just have to always remember the last people that saw Summer. That's all we can go by. And see, too, okay, so allegedly, and I have to say allegedly, I'd have to go back and find it, because I remember Jody C saying that Dawn didn't know shit, and she's the one that told him about the dog trail. And I could be wrong, Jody C. If I'm wrong, call me out. Call me out. For real, call me out on that. If I'm wrong. I mean, seriously. Dawn spoke of the dream. Summer came back and asked her where she had been. She answered, down the road. Yes. Yeah, he even talked about a woman telling him that she had a dream, and Summer was sitting beside her on a swing or something, and said, tell my daddy I miss him. Some weird shit like that, you guys. Some weird shit. That's back in the beginning. In the beginning. Okay, so I ain't gonna sit here and say Don's guilty of anything. I'm not gonna say he's innocent of anything. We're kind of talking about a weird mind of an individual. We'll put it like that. The weird mind of an individual. I know. I know. And Dawn said 5:30. Then Fred switched something up here recently to 5:30. They're calculating each other's moves, they are. Well, yeah, there's probably a lot of areas down there, Twister, that people don't know about. Yep, a little crazy.
When you got the call, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Well, she called frantic, panicking. And I said, well, just in case, hang up and call 911. And, you know.
Just in case. Just in case. Nice. Just in case, right? Why would he say just in case? just in case you can't find her. So, okay. See, I'm wondering if they hadn't talked. I would think that they had conversation probably after Hunter was dropped off. She was on her way home. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
And I thought it was, for some reason, I thought it was 5:30, but they keep telling me it's 6:26, and that's what the 911 says. But to be honest with you, I don't trust police.
Okay.
I don't trust police. Why would they lie about the time? Why would law enforcement lie about the time? I don't trust them. They said it was 6, after 6. Okay. All righty then. Either you loved him or you hated him. You couldn't make up your mind on. There's interviews where you were like, oh, Ronnie Lawson's a good dude, man. And then something changed. And you didn't like Ronnie anymore. It's like that with all of them. I just never understood, and this is kind of silly on my part, but I would have thought that people associated with the Wells wanted Summer found. I would have thought that they would have encouraged Dawn to talk to Chris McDonough. Yes, I said it, people. I said it. Because I ain't law enforcement. Script on, script off. Well, I mean, come on, people. If something like this happened, do you think law enforcement is going to say, hey, now, you go on home, get with your wife, and you get that timeline figured out? Right? So, I mean, can you kind of look at Dawn and Candace like Ziggy and Fred, right? Getting the timeline figured out. Right? I say no more. I rest my case. And no, I'm not kissing Chris McDonough's booty. I'm not. I feel like Ronnie is going to end his career with a big win. I hope so, little Deb. I pray he does. I pray he does. And I think that whether people really want to believe it or not, that Summer's case has brought out a lot of messed up stuff. That's why I say these are messed up people and they're doing messed up stuff. Okay? And I mean messed up stuff. No matter how they want to spin it, no matter how they want to spin it, it's messed up stuff. And then to think of children being in that environment, not a good thought. I'm not going to say that law enforcement gave her booze. I don't know. I don't know. If that, if that was true, the minute it started being put out on YouTube, I'm sure there were questions asked. Who gave them booze? Remember, they said she freaked out when they put her in the back of the cop car.
I don't know why he acts like it's such a burden to play this fucking game, bro.
allegedly freaked out when they put her in the back of a cop car. Right? And they said she never drank and drove. We don't know how long before she started nipping on the bottle, right? After she got home. I don't know. I'm not saying it's true. I wasn't there. Right? Allie said she was just walking back and forth in the kitchen playing with her hat. If I remember correctly. Right? I don't necessarily know if it's a cover up. Good possibility though. Well, Linda, I can see where law enforcement would tell them don't search. Right? I can see that. But, you know, Don says he went everywhere looking. He went everywhere looking. I don't think either one of them, yeah. I remember Don. Where did Don say he went? Bays, was it Bays Mountain? Don said he went to. And the guy threw him off the property. Told him to get out of there. Was that Bays Mountain? I can't remember. That coincided with the story of the little girl. The little girl on the side of the road that was playing out by the road. I mean, that's weird. I couldn't figure out why he even went and, you know, the mom says that he was trying to, you know, trick try to get the little girl on his truck. That's what Mama said. That's what he said Mama said. Right? I mean,
and we showed them all the information on our phones because they wanted to know. They wanted to know the timeline. So we showed them right then. When I got there, they wanted to know all that. And they wrote it all down.
And when you got there, do you remember what time you arrived?
I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention.
So how did they know the timeline, Don? Writing down what timeline? Right? Okay. Okay. What time? I want to see that. I would love to see that. I would love to see what the initial report said. I would love that.
I was on Messenger with Candace as she was driving her mother's truck around looking for her in the area. Okay. So I talked to her the whole way there, and it's really kind of weird that we was able to talk all the way there because normally we don't have a connection like that.
And he states that Candace was in Grandma's truck.
Right.
It's kind of odd.
And what was she driving?
Her mother's truck.
The Chevy, the Silverado?
Yeah.
And what was Grandma doing when you showed up?
I don't even know what she was doing. I think talking to the police and probably just standing there looking or whatever. Probably.
If he was on the hill and seen grandma, you would know what she was doing. Why you gotta say probably? Probably that's what she was doing. Oh,
I don't know.
And what were the boys doing?
Looking for Summer, and then once all the police started arriving, they, you know, bottlenecked all the roads. You know,
oh, I see what happened. He threw probably in there, right? He caught it. He caught it. He caught himself before he said the wrong thing. Is exactly what just happened. That's why he threw probably in there. He was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I wasn't up on the hill yet, right? I went down to the shed. Talking to the police. Probably. Huh. I see ya. I see you, Dawn.
nobody could move. So there was in a state of confusion and panic. I'd say, you know,
Now,
cops in and out.
was
Yeah.
was there a car at the bottom of your driveway when you pulled up, like a
No.
cop car or anybody? You just pulled right
There
in?
was nobody there.
There was nobody there. So, Speedy Gonzalez made it home pretty quick. Now, we know they talked about Don has a lead foot, okay? They say Don's got a lead foot. I'm just saying. He did. He caught himself, though. I'll give him that. Probably.
Was the first one there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what about when you got there?
When they got there at 7:03, I think somebody said, didn't they? I think somebody left me a comment and told me, you guys just told me exactly what time they got there. 7:03 or something, right? They were there really quick. They were there really quick.
What was your first impression of where you should search first?
Well, that's why I drove down to the bottom, because I didn't even go to the house. I went straight by that shed on the bottom.
Yeah, is that the one where off the bottom of your property to the
Yes. I got that little dirt road. I went past that and went straight down that hill, straight to the creek, and that's when I seen my boys. And then I seen my neighbor Don walking to the left side, and the boys were on the other side of the hill. And I knew, like I say, I knew my heart just sank right there. I just knew she was gone.
Honestly,
See, that shed, there's been so much said about the shed, right? Now we're talking about the shed at the bottom of the property. And if I wasn't so low budget, I'd have had that pulled up to show you guys. It's out there. You can get it. The shed. Now, if you ask Lisa Kay, I don't know where she's got it, her top secret source. But I haven't seen receipts. And I don't know why. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. We are not going to, I'm not going to do it. Okay, so the shed and things being said about the shed, that there are receipts showing about the shed. Anything about the shed? I can't really say a lot about it, I guess. I mean, I can say a lot about it, but is there actual receipts? Lisa says it was him telling Candace to take the stuff over to Fred's. And it's weird when Don says that he at one point was going to set Fred up. Now, I heard all kinds of different things, right? Right. I wish I have receipts on stuff. I mean, why would Candace take something over to hide it at Fred's? Why, of all places, would they choose Fred's? They got 11 freaking acres of property. If they wanted to hide something, I don't know why they would take it to Fred's. Right? So, we know Candace went to Fred's. So much of it doesn't make sense to me. So, I mean, the area that Dawn went to, that shed, isn't that where the tree trimmers had cleared all that up the mountain there? Right? But he just knew Summer was gone. He just knew she was gone. And he knew something was going to happen under Candace's watch. And I kind of wonder what Dawn was doing that whole day. But after all this time, you know, I'm sure that he could write a little script for that. Right? And this is what I never understood because, from my understanding, Don got fired. He was asked to stay off social media. He wouldn't do it. Also, the company that he worked for, the wife was being sent things and told what people are finding out Don Wells is about and some of the things he said. And being a godly woman, she wanted nothing to do with him. Nothing to do with him. And if that's the truth, I commend her for that. Right? Right? But you'll hear him in this interview, and I recommend you guys go watch it too, right? I recommend you guys go watch. You can go watch it and get out of it what you think you need to. Dress up your weird words. Dress your weird words up. Yeah, they could. We don't know if he was keeping substances in the shed or not. The only person that would know if he was keeping something like that in a shed would probably be Candace or, you know, I don't see a person with substances telling anybody else they got it in the shed. You know, unless it's just like a drive-through or something and people are going in going, oh, I'm going to take this. I'll leave the money. I'll leave the money for you, right? Don told Chris, I believe it was Chris, that he didn't remember if he looked in the shed or not, or if he did it later. That is out there also. It might be in this. But I talk too freaking much, you guys. That's why I'm telling you, go watch it yourself. I talk too much. I do. Way too much. Can't help it. And he had to get rid of it. That's what I'm saying, though. Law enforcement went back to Don and Candace's over and over and over. Over and over and over. right?
This game is so different than
And look, I know people take the cell phone of Don Wells that Tim Mullins took that, information off of. We don't know what was on that phone. We don't know what was on that phone. And we really don't. I mean, law enforcement took their devices. I can guarantee you they had more devices. Right?
just fucking paws off me, bro.
I mean,
Okay, that's one of
I can't see a self-serve drug place in the shed. People who used to take advantage. Yeah, yeah, Deb. Absolutely. People would take advantage of that.
Another
Hey, Marie.
bro, I feel like Stephen Curry getting fucking double teamed.
Right.
Fuck it.
I'm just saying, if that was the case, I would think that Fred would be livid at the idea that they were going to bring something to his house and hide it. But then again, they probably figured that, Fred had stuff of his own, right? Why not just put ours with Fred's? If they bust Fred, for what he's got, it ain't going to hurt him to take our share of it, right? Get in trouble for our part, right? Next for Christmas, it's Fred in the shed. For sure. But Don knew she was gone. He knew she was gone. Oh, wait, I muted it. I moved.
But and I was thinking, well, they probably ain't been out buying property yet or anything, so that's what made me drive down there first.
Okay. Okay.
No,
And then did you go into that shed?
no.
Is that,
Well,
is
I
that
did.
yours too, by the way, real fast?
Yeah, that's ours. Well, I did. I don't know if I checked it then or later, but I know I did go in there and look. But I'm not.
I don't know if I checked it then or later. Hey, Chris. Okay, Don.
Not sure if it was right then or I might have parked and walked in there and looked real quick. I just don't remember. But once I knew she was gone, I went to the top of the house and went up the driveway up there.
Well, so why wouldn't you have gone into the shed? I'm curious.
I may have. I just can't be sure on that. If I did, I went in there, but I'm not sure if I went in there right then or if I went in there at a later time. I'm not sure.
Okay. And then what? Go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, once the police started arriving and everything, I was like, man, I'm going to go question all these damn drug dealers and everything like that. And, and they reluctantly said, go ahead. And I says, I think y'all should put pressure on them and get a list of every person they know. And if it was me, I'd lock them up or whatever and then start asking questions, but it's not up to me. But
yeah, why would you do that? Why from your perspective?
Because, okay, Ben Hill Road, if you go back far enough there, Fred Hill lives back there. And I don't want to get him in trouble or nothing, but everybody goes back there.
I don't want to get him in trouble or nothing, but I'm going to set him up. Let me set him up. He admitted it. He was like, yeah, I was going to try to set Fred Hill up. That's what he said. But I don't want to throw him under the bus. Right? That's what friends are for, right? Freddie and Donnie knew each other. Don lived there breaking for years.
They're looking for pills, meth, or whatever it is they're looking for, and we see all kinds driving back through there. We even see a car coming back there just barely running on 2 cylinders, just everything they got to get back there to ask him if he's got a pill or whatever, It's great.
That does happen, unfortunately. Sometimes people will get there however they have to get there, for sure. But, okay, so that's what Don's saying they're doing, right?
Crazy. But and also my neighbor has caught people parking our driveways, sitting there doing drugs, either early in the morning, late at night, or whatever, many times over.
So basically, that's a drug corridor. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so people go up there to cop dope.
Yes. Or they, and then there's other places, I don't know where they're all at, but they all intermingle, and how that kind of works.
Other places. What do you mean other places? What other places are there but substance dealers and manufacturers? What other places? What other places you know about, Don? Right?
I guess, but
well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot.
Oh, don't forget, Don said that he asked law enforcement if he could go and be an undercover pedo. He did. I'm serious. He did. I know you guys remember that. Him saying that. Ben Hill had it all. Yes, I agree. From what I have seen. Yep.
A lot of dynamics always, right? There's a lot of moving parts. So
yes.
Back to Summer for a minute. So when you got to the house, and did you go into the house at any time?
Well, yeah, I went in the house, out of the house. I mean, we was turning everything, looking everywhere. We didn't know what to do, and the police started pulling up, and this and that. Yeah.
And where did you search?
Pretty much everywhere, in the sheds, the shed right there by the house, all the sheds, everything. I look everywhere. Mostly I screamed at the top of my lungs. So I was like, kid for summer,
Yes. They were all doing that, if I remember correctly. Candace starts hollering for Summer. Grandma starts hollering for Summer. Then Don's standing at 110, screaming for Summer. And it was a blessing that law enforcement did get there as quick as they did, because they could get that search out there. And I think what people need to understand is, even though, your heart tells you, and probably told some of those searchers that, her being in the area just, it wasn't happening, but they didn't give up. They didn't give up. They went back and searched. They searched and searched for her. They did. Even though I know some of them were like, the possibility is she's not here. But they kept searching anyway with the hopes of finding her, right? If they would have listened to Don and just quit searching the area, could you imagine? Right? I mean, we still don't know where she's at, but
unless she was just lost and around there close somewhere.
Right. And then what about in her bedroom and stuff? Did you look down there?
Well, yeah. I mean, Candace went under too, and she looked under everywhere, under everything,
Right.
She told me,
Right, but that was different than you, though, right? Did you?
Yeah, but I
now, could Don have been up there with Candace and they started clearing out the freaking, house and sticking things in certain places, and there was a reason law enforcement went back and searched that house as many times as they did. And I know some people say looking for Summer, and I'll always say that's the top priority, but I wonder if they wasn't looking for some, maybe, SD cards or maybe some pictures or, maybe substances or we don't know. All those possibilities are with 110 Ben Hill Road. The possibilities are endless in my opinion. Endless on what they were looking for sure.
Yeah, I looked everywhere also. Yes.
And what about the door?
I don't remember. No, I do know that the boys, we cuss them because they just leave it wide open all the time.
Right.
I'm like, man, you got to keep that locked or shut, and they just don't listen.
Right.
Could
Summer open that door?
Probably so. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
How many times have you seen her open it? If you know.
I don't know, but she's pretty intelligent for her age. She's real intelligent, very smart, very agile.
Yeah, Miss Robin said that too.
Yeah, she loves to run. I could be running my lawnmower and she.
I do love the fact that Dawn does tell us about Summer a little bit. The thing about it was there were, and this is just the way I feel, he kind of stuck with, like, if he would say something like him saying that she ran fast, she would chase the lawnmower. Some of what you hear in Don's interviews are him stating the same things over and over, right? It's weird. It's weird to me. I don't know if it's weird to anybody else, but
Why am I so early, bro? Remind me again.
Yes, thank you, Zena.
Remind me again.
Heck yeah, you guys might as well come in and hang out. I do not bite over here. I am just a very
Oh my God.
non-emotional person. I'm teasing. I'm more emotional than most of them. I'll tell you that. Hang on, I got to get something hot to drink.
That works because I was about ready to fucking like lower my head in sorrow, bro, because I missed that duck. Turn back out real quick. All right, let me see here. Maybe I just fucked my animation up to the point where I can't get it back. It's the one you gave with Isaiah Thomas and Beluga.
Okay. Woohoo! You bark, but you don't bite. I'm weird. I am a very weird person. Low level weird, but that is just me. It is. It's just more. So, all right, he's describing Summer.
He would just run behind me constantly the whole way, nonstop. The boys would be riding their little motorcycles, and she'd be right behind them all the way, over and over around the house, just nonstop. Plenty of energy.
Would she chase him?
Well, she'd just be running behind them laughing. Right. She wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Like
just
kids,
having fun.
like little kids do.
Yeah.
And Dawn did say that, I guess he at one time had a motorcycle or something, and he would ride little Summer around, right? That's, if I remember correctly. Please tell me if I'm wrong. And he would just ride her on there. But that got looked at in a different way when he started describing a motorcycle and his stepsister. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she don't even need a bike or motorcycle. She,
Right. So tell me more about her personality.
She just loved, she would always come to me, Dad, hold my hand so I can twirl. And I'd hold my arm there, and she'd just sit there and twirl till my arm just about give out. She loved to do that. Sometimes we play rock and roll music or whatever music, and she liked that song Godzilla. I had it saved on my phone, and everybody put me down for that. But
he immediately went to Summer's favorite song was Godzilla, and they put me down for that. They put me down for that. I never heard anybody putting Dawn down for Summer's favorite song being Godzilla. Who did that? Who would do that? That's weird. That is just weird. Yes, Chris. Yes. He was going to see if law enforcement would let him be an undercover. Right? Of all people. You know what Don said he did also? He said that another family member Ard this girl, right? And Don was so concerned with her that he walked her home afterwards and was talking to her and all this other shit. In all the cases, all the messed up shit Don Wells has in his head, never have I heard him say, I called law enforcement about it. Right? I wonder what TBI thought when Don was talking about the motel rooms, and I bet they were like, oh, that's kind of interesting, right? In his interview with the news, he said her favorite song was Our House. Candace said that. Candace said that, Tropicana, in the WJHL interview. Yeah. That was a big thing too. Right? Good. That is very true, Poppy. Very true. Very, very true. All right. I'm at 2 hours. Are you guys still with me? You want me to go on a little bit more? I'll give you some more time. It's 3 o'clock. It's snowy outside. I'm not doing anything else. Not for a little bit. We're going to have chicken and salad tonight. So, yes, I'm a cooking tonight. Well, actually, Chad's cooking. Chad likes to cook. And I'm here for it, too. For real. Your gears are turning. Your gears are always turning, Genevieve. Girl. Don't even try it. Don't try it, lady. A few inches. I don't know. Maybe 5 inches, I think. Not a whole lot. I mean, the streets are already cleared. Luckily, I got a neighbor. He's got a snow plow, so he's always pretty kind to go down the road. I appreciate him. For real. Tacos and rice. That sounds good, too. Okay, so Don, gotta make sure that he kind of makes things about himself And, you know, people put him down for Godzilla.
For something about Godzilla, she just lied. She always said, well, he's a nice monster. He gets all the bad monsters. And, you know, he takes care of all the bad monsters. Yeah. You know, so just,
if they only knew, right? If the little kids only knew.
If they only knew about monsters. If kids only knew about monsters. You know, it's weird because a lot of parents, not saying that, you know, stranger danger isn't out there, but there's a whole new concept of stranger danger now. These people on these roadblocks and all that stuff, getting people, I mean, we could get into it, you guys. We'll get into it. We'll talk about something. I think it's the 765. I mean, that stuff is horrible that they get kids to do online, and it's bad. It is bad. Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so when you pull up and you see Grandma, what was Grandma doing?
Just kind of standing there dumbfounded, if I remember right.
Do you get along with Candace's mom?
I haven't for a long time. We fought for a long time. She's the reason I got arrested and charged the way I did, because she told him I put real bullets in her muzzle loader. Oh. And that was 10 years mandatory and no bond.
So Grandma snitched on him. Grandma snitched on him over the weapon he had, right? When the DV stuff was going on, right? Well, that's pretty sick, Genevieve. That's pretty sick that people would do that. There's sick people in the world. Let me say this. I don't need for any child to come. I don't need to stalk them to see what they say about their missing sister, or obviously something that traumatized them throughout their lives, that when they got into CPS care, they opened up and told CPS exactly what had been going on at 110 Ben Hill Road. I don't need for them to relive that shit at all. But to each their own, right? To each their own. That's sad. And a little freaking high level weird, if you ask me, but to each their own.
Tell me about that.
Well, when I come back from Utah, I was trying to move my family to Utah. I've always knew that something was going to happen to Summer.
Now, Don did take the oldest with him to Utah. From my understanding, he had been gone. Don had been gone. How many months had Don been gone? Somebody please tell me. Because I know one of you know off the top of your head. Right? So Don's gone, and he's got the oldest with him. DV said he was on the hill with Don. They had pew-pews. Don showed him if you put diesel, and they fired like real pew-pews. Well, Grandma snitched on him, right? Oh, I love canned tomatoes, Poppy. I do. I love some canned anything. I'll take it. If it's canned, I'll take it.
Something in my gut has always told me, and I've always told Candace, watch her closely. That's my baby. Do not let nothing happen to her. I told her that all the time.
He told Candace that all the time. That's my baby. Don't let nothing happen to her. Huh. He always knew something was going to happen under Candace's watch. That's what he always said.
What brought you to that thought?
I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't know what it was, or I just always had this feeling that something's gonna happen to her. I didn't know if she was just gonna get accidentally run over. I didn't know what it was.
Why would you think about her accidentally getting run over? Right? Let's stop it there for a second. He didn't know if she was going to get accidentally run over. He didn't know what it was, right? Waving, Sandy. Waving. He didn't know what it was. He knew it was going to happen under Candace's watch, and he just, if it was her getting accidentally run over, right? Interesting. I'm just saying. I know some people are like, girl, we can't listen to you. We just can't. And I'm like, I'm good with it. I am not holding anyone hostage over here. Ooh, now you want to go experiment with what? Okay, go experiment, Genevieve. Hey, Ernie Shell. Ernie, Jen wants to experiment. There. Experiment with Ernie, Genevieve. Now, I'm not getting perverted. I'm not telling you what things to experience with each other. I'm not doing that. For real. I know. I mess with Genevieve all the time. I do. And sorry, I even mentioned that scallywag Ernie Shell.
Did you think she would be kidnapped?
Never, nothing like that.
Okay.
No, I just knew it was something. I just had this intense love for her, and I think she knew something too. So I think something was. I don't know if you believe in guardian angels or what, but
He had this he intensely loved her. Right? And I don't need nobody going, oh, remain calm. That just means he loved her a lot. Intense. It was an intense love. Okay? And he thinks Summer may have thought something was going to happen to her also. Okay? Let me play that one more time.
I didn't know if she was just going to get accidentally run over. I didn't know what it was.
Did you think she would be kidnapped?
Never, nothing like that.
Okay.
No, I just knew it was something. I just had this intense love for her, and I think she knew something too. So I think something was. I don't know if you believe in guardian angels or what, but it's something.
What would make a 5-year-old girl think that something was going to happen to her? That is weird. Weird.
Something.
So you get back. So walk me through that incident, because I know that was the one that you got arrested, right?
Yeah. Well, so I get back from Utah. Candace tells me that she moved a man in the house. She didn't tell me he was gay and all this and that. She wanted me to come back. So
she didn't say that he was gay. He liked chicks with wankers, right? That is the weirdest shit I've ever heard somebody. Well, no, it's not the weirdest thing I've ever heard somebody say. But Allie and Candace both said that that is what was said. That was the final moment when Allie was like, I'm out of here. I mean, how would you feel if you slept with a guy and he says that? Right? That's pretty messed up. If I was Allie, I'd have been pissed off too. I mean, for real. And why'd she take it out on Candace? I don't know. Very weird.
Of course, I'm mad. I'm coming across the United States 110 mile an hour average in that little truck.
Jose said that he had actually talked to Don a couple times when Don was in Utah. So all of a sudden, you're driving 110 miles per hour home with your kid in the car, right? Because Candace moved some guy in the house. Okay.
And I got a ticket to prove it, but anyways, he didn't take.
You got a ticket to prove it? Don, you said you got pulled over. You told the cop what was going on. And he was like, okay, Mr. Wells, even though you were doing 110 mile an hour with your son in the car, we're going to let you go home. Go home to your wife who's messing with that man she moved in, right? Right.
Take me to jail. I told him, I told him what's going on. And he says, he gave me a big break. And says, slow down, man. You got to get there alive, you know. But he was really cool. And so I come on and get there. And, you know, the first day, everything's kind of okay. And then we started drinking a little bit. And
right there's the problem. Y'all start drinking a little bit. Yes, I agree, Moonshine Girl. I agree. Absolutely. You know, wanting to make Donnie a little jelly, right? I mean, how would you make a man jealous who's in another state with your oldest son, saying that he's working for a living, trying to change his life, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, your old lady calls him. She's like, I got this new man. He's holding me at night, right? I don't know. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Messed up. Messed up people doing messed up stuff is what it is. For real. I'm realizing Don sounds so much like, oh, I'm sorry I brought Ernie up. I am sorry.
Candace had told him I messed around on him one day, which I did. I totally, you know, I regret it. It was the biggest mistake I ever made with her.
Sorry, I'm eating chocolate right now. So Don came out and said that, you know, he got with another woman and they did the nasty together. That was the only time he did it. He regrets it. This lady even comes out on social media to let everyone know that, yes, I was the one that Don did the deed to, but only one time. And Candace goes off on Facebook and is calling the girl some really horrible names, right? Yeah, Candace wasn't happy. Let me ask you this, being a woman, I know we got some men in here. If your significant other went to a lady of the night, would that be different? Would that be different, you know, if they, well, look, If they do it in your fucking house and you're in that house, big problem. Big problem. Right? I think she called her a holler bunny or some shit. I can't remember. They changed names of it now. Yeah, you got to be careful heating a garage. For sure. Okay, so Don did the deed and worst mistake he ever made. But the thing about it is, they don't hide the fact that, you know, Don likes the ladies of the night. He likes the crack-a-lack Coca-Cola. He likes that stuff. He ain't never hid that fact at all. For real.
Messed around on it one time, but they started jumping on me, her and Candace and him. And I was going to hit him in the head with a beer bottle. It was full of beer, but at the last second, I just threw it to the wall.
Bing, 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 bing. He threw a beer bottle at the wall. Now, he says they were attacking him. Right? They used to call it swinging. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Swinging. Just a swinging. Okay, so he throws a beer bottle at the wall.
Is this that Jose guy?
Yeah, and so I had all three of them jumping on me, you know.
Right.
Yeah, the Jose guy, her, and Candace's mother were all jumping on me. And the cops got called. Candace, after I threw that beer bottle.
What was okay, so he says they all jumped on me, but he doesn't say why. He just says they was drinking. And something about cheating came out. My cheating heart. Maybe that swing is code. Oh my gosh. Freaking crazy. Crazy.
At the wall, the cops got called. And that's when her mother's, you know, said, well, he's got a gun in the glove box. I said, well, it's just a muzzle loader. I mean, I'm allowed to have a muzzle loader. And she says, yeah, but he puts real bullets in it.
Oh,
you know, and she's, you know.
Is that how she hurt her knee?
Well, she was pushing me.
This is the thing. Just because Grandma said, I don't think they could arrest him for it with just Grandma said. Do you guys? Do you think he caught a charge because of what Grandma said? And that was weird about the safe when he said that they came into the jail and subpoenaed his safe. They got a search warrant for his safe. Right?
She kept pushing me. Jose would say something like, I remember the one thing he said is, once a cheater, always a cheater, because his wife left him or cheated on him, so he's taking out me at this point. And he every time he would say something, she would push me. He'd go say something else, she pushed me.
How did you know that? Jose tell you that? About his wife? Oh, maybe that's what Candace told you about Jose. Right? Because that's why Jose stayed, because, you know, he wasn't in a good headspace where he was at. So he stayed up on the hill. Right? Yeah, his safe. Supposedly he had an old safe. It must have belonged to his mom. He tried to say that at one time it had rounds in it and that he had already got rid of all of the ammo. So, but that's what they said. That's what they said.
Push me again. I never hit her or nothing. But the last time she pushed me, I pushed her out of the way, and I was going to hit him with that beer bottle, and she fell. I didn't even realize she fell. You know.
Listen to that again. Listen to it. So he had all three of them jumping on him.
Me, you know.
Right.
Yeah, the Jose guy, her, and Candace's mother were all jumping on me, and the cops got called. Candace, after I threw that beer bottle at the wall, the cops got called, and that's when her mother's, said, well, he's got a gun in the glove box. I says, well, it's just a muzzle loader. I mean, I'm allowed to have a muzzle loader. And she says, yeah, but he puts real bullets in it.
Oh, wow.
And she's,
Is that how she hurt her knee?
Well, she was pushing me. She kept pushing me. Jose would say something like, I remember the one thing he said is, once a cheater, always a cheater, because his wife left him or cheated on him. So he's taking out on me at this point. And he every time he would say something, she would push me. He'd go say something else, she'd push me again. I never hit her or nothing. But the last time she pushed me, I pushed her out of the way, and I was going to hit him with that beer bottle, and she fell. I didn't even realize she fell.
So he pushes Candace out of the way to hit Jose with the beer bottle. That he doesn't hit him with, he throws it at the wall instead. Right? Where were the kids?
Or I pushed her to, whatever. I was just trying to get her out of the way because I was going to nail him. And so, of course, she went and called the cops and told them, hey, she didn't tell them the whole truth.
Yeah, what is that? So, yeah, tell me the truth. Because
she said that I was pushing her and hurt her and all this and that, But my intention was just to push her out of the way so I could hit him. I didn't want her, if me and him was going to fight or whatever, I didn't want her right there. But she was acting real funny. Another thing is, too, though, on her behalf, if I was at a party in Utah at my sister's house, well, I told her the truth is I was at my sister's house at a party just to eat the free food because I had to go home. And I was saying,
okay, seriously? Do you guys think that Dawn was at a free party? Dawn went to a party for the free food. I ain't gonna say he didn't. Right?
Staying in a trailer to get to sleep so I could go to work the next day. But what she heard was I was partying, I gotta go. That's all she heard. Otherwise, so that, after we talked about that and everything, we straightened it all out. And I'm like, no, that's not at all. I was just trying to get some food and go home.
So
like
she thought you were cheating.
Yeah. So that's how,
And you thought she...
That's the biggest bullshit story I ever heard in my life. I'm sorry. Sounds like Candace and Grams wanted the house and was setting Dawn up. Candace, hey, Moonshine Girl, that is always a possibility, ma'am. Always a possibility. I ain't saying that's not what happened. I don't know. But there are people who feel that way. I'm not a Dawn Wells fan, but I'm not a Candace fan either. Dawn Mama was, she was a prepper. Dawn's mom was a prepper. And I don't see anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a prepper. If I had the money, I'd be a prepper. I sure would. No doubt about it.
was cheating.
Right. Well, she wanted me to think that, but she wasn't.
What did Grandma think?
She's never liked me, but I think it's changed now. You know, I think me and her, we get along a little bit better now, but at first we hated each other.
Well, why doesn't she like you though?
She don't think I'm good enough for her daughter and all this and that. You know.
Interesting. And what's your?
That says a lot. That is funny. Don wasn't good enough for Candace. Wow. All righty then.
What was she doing during the fight with Jose?
I'm not sure. I think she was standing there or whatever.
I can.
And that's the night she hurt her mom hurt her knee that night, didn't she?
I don't know if she hurt her knee or whatever. I have no idea. Her knee's been messed up.
Yeah. And
for a long time.
Did she? You said she was getting in the way when.
No. Well, Candace was the one pushing me.
Okay.
Jose would say something, and Candace would just shove me as hard as she could. I mean, she was shoving me hard.
Okay.
So it was about 5th or 6th time she shoved me. I just was trying to push her out of the way, and I was gonna, like I said, I was gonna get Jose. But afterwards, we straightened it all out. After we was able to talk and see each other's side more clearly.
Can you imagine Don and Candace fighting when nobody's there to stop them from fighting? Right? Could you imagine that? All out fucking war in a house. 2 people taking a little nip, end up fighting with each other. Right?
Really, we forgive each other and just went on, you know.
Sure. Where's Jose now?
That night, Candace's mom told him, when they took me to jail, Candace's mom said, get your crap and get in that truck and you're out of here.
Now, how do you know that? Because you were in jail.
I don't know that for a fact, but that's what they both told me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what?
Now, let me tell you this about Jose that I remember, and I don't know if the stories are true or not, but, it was said something about the Philippines and Jose having a girlfriend in the Philippines. And, that's weird to me. That my radar was like, what? He worked, in a fish factory, I think. I mean, weird.
Happened to him?
She took him all the way to North Carolina to some woman's house. We don't know what happened to him after that. Why would Grandma take this guy to North Carolina? Because she was just tired of him, tired of his BS. But North Carolina is kind of a drive, don't you think? It depends on what part of North Carolina.
I don't know if they were so much tired of his BS because it sounds to me like Grandma and Candace enjoyed Jose being there, right? People were talking about they were wanting to get their dibs in on Jose, right? So just weird shit, right? Yeah, supposedly a fish factory. Something to do with fish or something on a boat. I don't know. He tried to say he threw his phone out in the water when he found out Candace did not keep the restraining order. That's what he said. That's what the man said.
Carolina, you go to, it's just over the mountains.
Like that.
The border's right on, the top of the mountains.
Okay. Over by, is that Cherokee in that area?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just going by what they told me,
Yeah, that's cool.
But I believe it.
Now, and then, so getting back to the baby here, because this is all this information. I appreciate it. I'm just, we're gonna flush through.
Well, this is weird to me because if Jose had somewhere else that he could go to, why didn't he go? Why didn't they give him a ride sooner if he had somewhere else he could stay, right? Oh, that's right. He was cooking and cleaning, mowing the grass, right? No, it was, I don't know, Genevieve. All I remember him saying was something about throwing the phone in the ocean because he was pissed that she dropped the restraining order. Right? Maybe they had dreams of living on that property together. Who knows? Because it, you know, just from what I've seen, Candace gets a little bit of attention from a guy. She likes it. She likes it. But then, you know, Dawn likes getting the attention of all the female YouTubers at one time too, right? For sure.
Right. So
Yeah.
now, when you get back to the house, do the cops ask you to hang on and stay on the property, or walk me through that day?
Well, they kind of want me to stay there or whatever, but I'm like, man, you need to let me go question at least the drug dealers that I know of and find out, and let me at least try to figure out something. I can't just sit here and do nothing.
Okay, so Don says he knows the drug dealers. Let me go question the drug dealers that I know. Right? And why would law enforcement do that? Okay, Mr. Wells, you go on now. You go question all the drug dealers you know. We'll see you later when you get back, right? Right? I can see law enforcement saying, why don't you tell me the names of your drug dealers, Mr. Wells? And we'll go talk to them ourselves, right? Please tell me that you guys have common sense. Yours are closed today. Yep. That's funny that he said that. He can't sit there and do nothing. Let me go question the drug dealers that I know. Hey, while we're at it, why don't y'all follow me to Knoxville or wherever I went to buy those $2,000 worth of substances, and then I walked around for 2 days and just gave it all away. I'm the crack fairy, crack-a-lack-a fairy. Just follow me now. I'm going to show you the dealers, and then I'm going to show you everybody in the area that does the crack-a-lack-a, right? I mean, they use banking hours. I thought he was looking to buy Summer back. I don't know. I mean, he kind of made it out that way with Fred because he was like, I was going to get some substances, take it over to Fred, give them to Fred, see if I could get him talking or whatever, right? I remember something along those lines for sure.
You think a drug dealer took her?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I've talked to Fred Hill many times, and he might
automatically went to Fred Hill. Like he didn't know anybody else in the holler that was messing around with substances. He went right to Fred Hill. Fred Hill. Fred don't not admit him being a substance manufacturer and one of the top dogs for the, you know, whatever agency works in the holler. For sure.
He's got his meth problems, you know, and he might wheel and deal to keep himself going or whatever like that. But I just don't see him as being that kind of a person, no.
Have you known any kids to be traded for dope?
Never in my life. I've never even heard of anything like that before.
Okay.
I think it'd be interesting to see if one would even do anything like that, because I think most of them tell you
to. Don would think that it'd be interesting to see if one of them would do it. Mama T, hey. But if you go back and listen, Don, what was I going to say? What were you gonna say, darling? Okay, hold on.
I mean, I've talked to Fred Hill many times, and he's got his meth problems, and he might wheel and deal to keep himself going or whatever like that. But I just don't see him as being that kind of a person. No.
Have you known any kids to be traded for dope?
Never in my life. I've never even.
Oh, yeah. Now, it was stated, I believe Mary said it, believe it or not believe it, that's not on me to believe it or not believe it, that there was an issue at one time, years ago, when Dawn and Pam's kids were young, that, there was like a substance dealer mentioned that, you know, knock, knock, ring, ring, your kid is at my house. Your old man just tried to give me your kid. But I don't know if that's true or not. I don't. No, I haven't yelled today. Maybe I need to. Give me time. There'll be something I've got time to yell about before I get off.
Heard of anything like that before.
Okay.
I think it'd be interesting to see if one would even do anything like that, because I think most of them tell you that they'd probably beat the.
How would that fucking be interesting, Dawn? To see if one would do that. How the fuck is that interesting? Oh, yeah, your mind. Your messy mind. You have a messy mind. It's because I'm hibernating. It's wintertime. It snowed outside. I'm hibernating right now. The bears stay calm while they're hibernating, unless somebody messes with them. See? They're just chilling out and hibernating. For real. Just don't yell at me. I'm not going to yell at you, Miss Justice. No, you're fine, Miss Justice. Hey, and I do have about 10 minutes left. I'm going to try not to go over 3 hours on these things, but and go watch this interview yourself, you guys. So when we talk about it, you guys may hear what I'm hearing, or you may hear something different. My mind goes in a lot of different directions. If you start shedding your coat, we're putting up a Cash App. Oh, that's right. You better. Okay.
Hell out of you.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but
I think some of them got more integrity than that, even though they're a damn drug dealer.
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, with the intensity of meth.
And I agree. There are drug dealers that would never take a child. There are. You can't peg all of them as, people who would take a child.
Then, craziness,
Yeah.
right? Is it possible?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. The thing that bothers me the most is Dudley Ajan, because he would do anything to get at me. And we know he has an alibi, but that doesn't mean that he didn't get with the Hammonds or somebody, and we know that they have.
You have to remember, right? Could that be possible? I don't freaking know. I don't know. At all. Everyone in the world knows about this stuff going on. He's a liar. He went to Tony Hammond pretty quick, too. I want to know who told Candace that Tony Hammond was in the holler that day. Right? I'm not saying Tony Hammond didn't know the Ajon family at all. But they would have had to have known. Look, if somebody come up there and took Summer, they would have to know that Candace was gone and had Summer. If Summer was their target, they would have had to have known when Candace got back home, right? They would have had to have known that. Because they were gone. They would have had to have known that Dawn had the Subaru that day because Dawn's truck would have been parked at 110 Ben Hill Road, right? So if it was somebody that knew him in the area, I would think that they would care if Dawn was there or not. If they were coming up the hill to take his daughter, you would want to know, right? If you seen Dawn's truck, right? Make that make sense. Right?
Ties because of Facebook. These detectives have told me that they have ties. They've worked with him. They know each other. You know, I know he was psycho.
You say these detectives, not TBI, the people you're working with.
Right.
Okay, great.
Yes. Okay. And I'll gladly give you the number if maybe you guys can get together.
I want to hear that one more time.
Like that before.
Okay.
I think it'd be interesting to see if one would even do anything like that, because I think most of them tell you they probably beat the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. I mean,
yeah, but
I think some of them got more integrity than that, even though they're a damn drug dealer. You know?
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, with the intensity of meth and craziness, right? Is it possible?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. The thing that bothers me the most is Dudley Ajan, because he would do anything to get at me. And we know he has an alibi, but that doesn't mean that he didn't get with the Hammonds or somebody, and we know that they have ties because of Facebook. These detectives have told me that they have ties. They've worked with him. They know each other. I know he was psycho.
You say these detectives, not TBI, the people you're working with.
Right.
Okay, great.
Yes. Okay. And I'll gladly give you the number if maybe you guys can get.
If Tony Hammonds was in drywall, right? Did you know Tony Hammonds, Don? What do you know about Tony Hammonds? I mean, I don't know if he's ever answered that, but that would be my question. How you know Tony Hammonds? Right? You drove Subaru, an excuse to borrow his boss. Now, supposedly there was a truck that Don drove when he would have to go long distances for the job, right? Now, people have come out and said they never owned red trucks, only vans or whatever, okay? I truly question that for a number of different reasons.
Get together. I don't know. I just, like I said, I don't hardly trust anybody anymore. I don't trust the police anymore. There's just so much weird stuff. It just blows me away.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts for sure. And
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's not my first rodeo, though, as you know.
Right.
I'm sure you've done your homework. And so I want to stay focused on that day, because it's critical that day.
Yes.
And you say this guy.
Genevieve, contractors have vans. They have vans to put things in and drive them to a job site. Not every van is freaky. It's not like the van that Andy seen at his job with all the prostitutes in it. And the guy was like, you want to buy a girl? You want to buy a girl for a little while? Weird shit. Messed up stuff.
You know, you have this feeling that this guy's involved. What brings you to that feeling, even though you say he has an alibi?
Because he would have done anything to get back at me.
So revenge.
Like I say, yeah, revenge. He tried everything in the world. Like he called Jesse.
Okay, this is the thing. All right. If this is just thinking out loud. If okay, Dudley admitted he was doing substances. You know, math, people using math, you know, they're just freaking out there sometimes, you know, from what I hear. I've never dealt with that stuff. But, do you believe that Don owing Dudley a few $100s or whatever, right? He owed Dudley money. Dudley said he owed him money. If you believe this, you would think that for the little bit of money that Dudley owed, that he would automatically connive into taking Summer. So what Don is saying is, instead of Dudley saying, give me my money, he immediately, like the minute he got fired and Don owed him money, Dudley immediately put into, you know, this go take Summer Wells because Don owes me money, right? Dudley was just fired the day before. And I know he was doing substances, but he wanted his money. But I just don't think. Yeah, Robin had the red truck. Robin had a red truck. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And his dad several times and he told them all kind of stuff to try to get me fired. And all I would say in my defense is, see, that's what he does every day. That's exactly what he does every day.
Okay.
We don't need that kind of stuff on the job sites and all this and that, because he's just drama every single day. You know,
where's he been since Summer's been missing?
I don't know. I know the police have been to his house. He had his truck up on jacks, and he's definitely got alibis.
What kind of truck, real fast before you go past?
That Nissan Pathfinder. There's a picture of it because he drove to my house and we rode in my truck because we had a long distance to go that day. You know, and it's just been a fight with him. You know.
So, if he rode with you that day, the day that you fired him, how'd he get back to his vehicle? Am I confusing myself here? Right? Or did you pick him up? He rode with you that day. Huh.
You know how some of these meth people are. You can't reason with them. You can't. They start seeing stuff. They start thinking everybody's after them, and they start thinking all kind of weird stuff. You know. So there's just no. You just a normal person cannot be around somebody who's on meth.
Yeah, no, I know that feeling.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Yes, Dudley was paid for his interviews. He absolutely was. Now, he did one with Betty, and then he did one with Jay for Justice. And I'm not going to say Jay for Justice paid him. I don't know. He also did one with Sweetie Pilo. That's over there on Sweetie Pilo's. He also talked to Sweetie Pilo. Right? So I'm sure that's over there somewhere. If y'all want to check it out for sure. Hang on a minute. Okay, sorry. Don just said what? Hold on. Lord, Lord, Lord. Well, that's what I said. This interview says a lot. It just depends on how you want to hear it. I can hear something on here that somebody else can listen to, and they will take the conversation totally different. Don said Dudley drove to his house on the 14th and turned around and said the truck was on a jack stand the 15th. But Don fired him on the 14th. Don fired Dudley on the 14th. Right? I mean, he said he didn't even want him working the rest of the day. Right? What truck? What truck are you talking about, T-Talk? The red truck? I don't know. That red truck could mean nothing, right? Yes, the day he was fired, Dudley rode with Don. My question was, how did Dudley get back to 110 to pick up his vehicle? Did Don give him a ride back? I don't know if I would want to be in that truck with that going on, right? Yeah, Dudley doesn't have, yeah, Dudley's got like a Pathfinder, I think, or some shit, right? I don't know. Could be, I don't know. Yeah, it is like it's like a goose chase, and I'm not here to get you guys to look at a specific thing and go a specific way. Not at all.
Somewhere, I can't remember where, somewhere on Facebook or somewhere it's been going around, but it's pictured, where Summer's dancing in the rain. You can see it in the background. Yes.
And was he on the property that day?
Well, Dudley said he was having problems with his vehicle. Dudley said his vehicle was messed up. That's why he was riding with Dawn. Because Dudley was also upset that, his vehicle was messed up and he was following Dawn Wells to a job site and Dawn was speeding and trying to lose Dudley. And Dudley was upset because Dawn knew that Dudley's vehicle was messed up. Dawn knew that. That's what Dudley said.
You know?
Yes, yes.
What time?
When he went, well, when we come back to get, we come back, man, he got in his truck coming home.
Okay, when you say when we come back, when did you get in the truck?
Right.
When
I'd say,
We don't know if Dudley drove anything. Right? We don't know if Dudley went anywhere. Nobody knows where Dudley went on the 15th. When they went to question Dudley, he was working on his vehicle, had been working on his vehicle. What's the guy going to do that got fired from a job that needs his vehicle to try to find another job? They're going to work on their vehicle, right? Because now he doesn't have a job where he can go to somebody's house or whatever, and they're going to drive, right?
we probably got back around 6:30, maybe 7, sometime late. It was a long day,
And so how did he get back with you?
in this little white truck.
Okay.
In this little white truck. So Dawn gave him a ride back. What?
We rode together way out past Greenville, way out there somewhere. Can't remember now.
So did you did a job up there that day?
Yeah, it was way out to, trying to remember what it's called now, but
With
my mind's blank.
with him?
Yes, yeah, we rode together to save gas and everything. Plus, like,
Okay.
trucking is a big piece of junk. But
And is that where you got the phone call?
It was a newer vehicle, Genevieve. It's good to particularly talk about. It's like we all need each other to try to. Yeah, I agree, Tropicana. That's the whole thing, And look, I'm not saying that I'm making sense out of nonsense because you can't. You can't make sense out of nonsense. You really can't. Legally in Tennessee, if you're fired, the company has to give you a ride. I don't know, T-Talk. I don't know. Good possibility. I know what Dudley owed. I seen a picture of Dudley's vehicle. I think we all did. Dudley never tried to hide his vehicles.
Call from Candace?
no, this was way prior to this. When we was working out here in the Meadows in Jonesboro is when I fired him.
Okay.
And he kept, yeah.
And that was the day before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He just said it was way before. Okay. Okay, here we go. Genevieve's got a theory. Be prepared. Trigger warning. I'll just put it out there. Okay.
The day before Summer disappeared.
And so then did you come back with him that day or the day Summer disappeared?
Into the job?
Yes.
Yeah, I come back to work on the job and try to clean it up, and I saw some of the guys out there. I told them.
Did you go back to the house when Dudley got fired? Did you take Dudley back to the house? Not the job. But then again, what he's saying, okay, wait, because I'm confusing myself. Is he saying he took Dudley back to his vehicle and then went back to work after that?
Remember what it's called now, but
With
my mind's blank.
with him?
Yes, yeah, we rode together to save gas and everything. Plus, like,
Okay.
Troy is a big piece of junk. But
And is that where you got the phone call from Candace?
no, this was way prior
Way
to this.
prior.
When we was working out here in the Meadows in Jonesboro is when I fired him.
Okay.
And he kept, yeah.
And that was the day before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The day before summer disappeared.
And so then did you come back with him that day, or the day summer disappeared?
Into the job?
Yes.
Yeah, I come back to work on
Okay, he came back to work.
the job and try to clean it up. And I was talking to some of the guys out there. I told them, come on over here and look at this job over here. Look at this. And they was like, wow. They couldn't believe it. This guy, his work was just horrible. And he's just out there. He's just big time out there.
It
I don't know.
sounds like he was tweaking.
Yes. But like worse than any tweaker I've ever seen. It could have been meth, but it's like worse than anything I've ever seen before. And I've seen some things in my time, but this was like way worse. Like maybe he was mixing something. But it's like this Tony Hammond sitting broad daylight. This kid's mowing his grass, and he goes and tries to grab him and stuff. And luckily they fought back and everything like that. And but it's like worse than that. I don't know what it could be. I have no idea.
You ever heard of crocodile?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Do you think that he could be crackulating on that stuff?
It could be. It's something crazy because
That is the sad thing about it, because they're mixing so many different substances together anymore, and people are not really knowing what they're getting at all. Are you talking about the yellow vehicle in the background? Is that what you're talking about? Weird, right? When do you guys think that picture was taken? When that video was taken of Summer dancing in the rain? It rained, what, a couple days before Summer went missing, right? It wasn't raining the day Summer went missing, right? So you can kind of calculate off of that. If Dudley's car's in the background of that video, then, that was either done a couple days before that. I don't know. You can kind of guesstimate on it, though.
We're supposed to be a team out here. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do butt joints. Okay. So I make some.
Okay, Don talks about his job, talking about what a scallywag that Dudley Ajon is. Like I said, you guys want to hear Dudley, go over to Olivia's channel, go over to Jay for Justice, go to Sweetie Pilo. And if anyone else talked with Dudley, I don't know who it could have been. Oh, Voices Behind the Wall. Now, what's interesting, the last time Dudley was heard from was on Voices Behind the Wall. And she ended up letting Dawn up on panel. And it just became a little spit spat type of thing. But Dudley was arrested very, very soon after that interview. He did have a warrant out for his arrest. He sure did.
So I told my boss I can't work and let him do his own apartment. I'm going over here. I'm going to work on this place. And then he messed all that up, ended up getting fired. His wife left him and took the kids.
Okay.
to another state. To
Okay.
another state.
So he took the kids
No, she did.
to protect the kids.
Yeah, and plus right now he's on probation for something, and I don't know what that is. But one day I walked out to his truck, and he had one of them phony things that you pee out of.
Yeah.
You put somebody else's pee in there.
Yeah.
He was putting one of those on and saying, "Well, I smoke my weed. I gotta have something for my weed, man. I gotta have my weed." You know.
Why the fuck would he do a piss test outside of a job site? Fucking weird, right? Why would you do they put something on? I never heard that they put something on. You know, I heard of fake pee, right? Have you guys ever heard of that? That they put something on their wanker for fake pee? I want to know. Somebody tell me. Tell me the truth. I want the truth. I don't know. I'm not a guy. I've never had to take a urine test before. I mean, well, I have had to take a urine test. There's nothing hidden in my urine test I got to worry about. For real. That is nutso. And he's doing it on a job site? Okay, hold on.
Dude, I cannot work with you. I don't know what your deal is, but I can't. This was like 7 years ago. And
this is like 7 years ago. Don worked with him before. Alert, alert. Don worked around Dudley Ajon before. 7 years ago. Some people put the fake pee in underwear to acclimate the temperature. I understand that, but I've never heard of them putting something on their wanker. I've never heard of that.
So I told my boss I can't work and let him do his own apartment. I'm going over here. I'm going to work on this place. And then he messed all that up, ended up getting fired. His wife left him and took the kids.
He's talking about something that happened years prior with Dudley, right?
Okay.
To another state.
Okay.
To another state.
So he took the kids
No, she did.
to protect the kids.
Yeah, and plus right now he's on probation for something, and I don't know what that is. But one day I walked out to his truck, and he had one of them phony things that you pee out of.
Yeah.
You put somebody else's pee in there.
Yeah.
He was
Phony. Oh, maybe he's talking about urine cup. Maybe he's talking about urine cup.
putting one of those on and saying, "Well, I smoke my weed."
He's putting it on? I have a problem with this. I know, Twister. I know they use other people's urine. But what do they pee in that somebody has to put on to get the pee out of? I'm sorry. Oh, unless he means they place the cup up to the wanker. I don't freaking know. This is weird. I'm sorry. You guys, I can't help it. I'm fucking weird. I am weird. And I'm not going to keep you on here much longer because I've been talking. I don't pay attention how long I'm even up here. A Wizinator. Hey, Abby. Weird. Really, Genevieve, how you keep, I don't even want to talk about that. If they pee in a condom, they got to tie the condom. So then if they take the condom and warm it up, which they do, put it on their body part to warm it up, and then they go in there. Oh, and you're saying they just stick the condom back in their pocket or something, right? Like an IV bag. An IV bag? That sounds painful, right? Oh, the bladder strap. Okay. But who the fuck inserts a catheter? Oh, well, you wouldn't stick nothing in there. I mean, you would be I get it. I get it. Okay. You're just talking about, yeah, you just strap a little bag on and it warms it up, and then you just open it up and the pee comes out, plug it back up and pull your pants up and move on. Oh, they don't have to even pull their pants down, do they? I get what you're saying. I got it. I figured it out. Okay. Hello, Justin.
I gotta have something for my weed, man. I gotta have my weed, you know. And I'm thinking, where he's from, where he's living in West Virginia, weed's legal.
Yeah, is that for his PO?
Yes, he was gonna go do a drug test for his PO.
Right.
And I thought, well, I didn't think much of it then, you know. But after thinking about it, they don't care if you smoke weed.
Yeah.
That's the least of their worries.
Yeah, I used to supervise every Thursday night, everybody coming in, and
Right.
with the P cup. So I know
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And
Right.
you have to stand next to you and watch you piss, man. That's
Yeah.
that's no fun.
No, I guarantee you, it's not. I wouldn't want that.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your
Check
fear
them out on Amazon, everybody.
of?
My biggest fear is that the heat's on him, and he would get rid of evidence, meaning my daughter.
Right.
That's my biggest horrific fear.
Has TBI and
Yeah,
FBI interviewed him?
yes, he's got alibis, and then they say, well, we just don't see him like that kind of person. I say, you don't know him. You haven't seen his prison mentality come out.
Do you guys honestly believe that law enforcement told Don that, oh, we don't see him as that kind of a person? Really? You guys really believe that they told Don that? Because I think that law enforcement was looking at everybody. I don't think law enforcement would say that when they don't know what happened to Summer.
Like I have, or his thug mentality. I've seen it, and I've tried telling them that, but it's just they don't even sink into them. Seems like to me. I don't know if they're really listening to me or just I don't know what TBI. They don't say nothing.
Now walk me through that. Were you in the joint with him?
No. I've been trying to straighten my life out for years since I found God.
Right.
You know, I was locked up in Utah, you know, and drugged back to prison many times for nothing.
Right. I remember you told me this.
I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm by any means. You know, I've done stupid crap. You know, and you know, you get in that revolving door. You know, you can go out and sell drugs or whatever you want, and you're just going to get a slap on the wrist, do 4 or 5 months, and back out. Everybody knows that.
Right. You get violated, and
it's like a free party kind of.
Right. And yeah, I remember you told me that you were at Hill Air Force Base and your PO told your boss and kind of snitched you out and that kind of.
They come out there too deep, and whatever they told my boss, he was just shaking in his boots. He's like, man, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You know? So they got.
Whatever they told my boss, he was shaking in his boots. What would they have told him, Don? What would they have told your boss? I think they took you with them that day, didn't they? Didn't they take you with them that day? You said it was over. Let's see if I can remember. You said it was over. Your sister, Sonia, I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And a ex-boyfriend of hers that did something that y'all didn't like, and you went and stole his property and sold it and other things. You said that that's what it was all about, right? Why would they say something to your boss about you being a theft, you know, you being a thief, right? Why would he shake in his boots about that? I don't know. I don't know the guy, right?
Got me fired.
And what were you in custody for? Can I ask you that?
Well,
I mean, I can find out. You know that.
Well, yeah. Somebody was. This guy was having a hard time with. He was messing with my sister, causing her a lot of trouble, and that's just an excuse. There's no excuse for what I did. But I hot wired his truck. I took everything out of his garage, Harley stuff, everything, and loaded it in the back of the truck and sold the truck all for nothing. But there's no excuse. I did what I did. It was wrong.
Okay.
You know,
I've heard worse. Go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, that, you know,
What
stuff
else?
like that.
What else have you been locked up for? I mean, what other things have you
I
done?
don't remember.
You don't remember? Come on.
I made trips to Mexico. You know,
Here
Were
we
you
go.
running? Were you running?
Donna's made trips to Mexico. Now, I don't know if this is true. This is another story I heard. I don't remember exactly where I heard it. That throughout, at some point in time, Don left 110 Ben Hill Road and he didn't come back. And he was gone long enough that what was said was his sister had to contact him, right? And talk him into going home. Now, that was said. I am not going to say it was factual. I'm going to say alleged. I can't remember where I got it, where I even got that, to be honest. So,
You're running.
I bought cocaine, you know, and totaled a brand new truck coming back out of Mexico once, just up for days on end, thinking I'd get out in the middle of nowhere, think the Indians after me. I'd get back out on the freeway, I think cops after me. I didn't know which way to turn. Out in the middle of the desert, you know.
And you used to take the 5 down or the 15?
Yeah. I think, you know, we went to El Paso.
Oh, yeah, Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I just turned, you know, and that turned into a big nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
That's like the
I was lost out there in southern Utah somewhere. I didn't know which end was up or down. Yeah.
So you were running dope. You've done, you know, that sounds like you stole the guy's truck, and then.
Well, let's just say I tried to run dope.
Okay.
It's hard for a doper to run dope.
Yeah,
hard for a doper to run dope. That's what he said. I've been on here 3.5 hours. You guys want a part 3? You'd never know what's going to come out of my mouth, what I'm going to say, which direction my mind goes. I can't say people are guilty that I don't know they're guilty. Guilt by association. You know, who knows? Who knows? Come up here, Justin, and I'll come up here, Justin. You can say bye to everybody with me. How about that? You said please. Justin said please, you guys. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and talking about this. I just think it's important that we, you know, look at this interview and, you know, really talk about it. Hi, Justin. You know, really
I'm doing good.
You doing good?
Kind of. Yeah.
Well, you got to, can you turn your TV down a little bit, buddy?
My TV now is turned down a little bit. Okay, I got to turn down.
Okay. All right, buddy. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. It's good to see ya.
Yeah, my temperature is good. Yep.
Oh, your temperature's good?
Yep.
Have you been
just a little bit congestion?
Oh, yeah, I think all of us are getting that for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you coming up, Justin.
Yeah.
So
I was trying to come up with before you started the live stream, sort of.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry I didn't see and what I
Yeah.
was, we were talking about something, so you
Okay.
know how that goes.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, I'm gonna get off here. I've been on here for quite a while, but you have a good day.
I will see you tomorrow, baby.
All right, I'll see you
Think so,
later.
yeah. See you
Bye.
later. Bye.
Bye, Justin. All right, Justin says, hey, everybody. Zena, thank you for gifting the memberships. That means a lot. That means a lot. So I hope that what we talked about today was pretty interesting and, sometimes things just come to my brain at different times but, like this is the there were a lot of people that were being discouraged not to go in the area and different things like that. That's kind of on it in a different ball game in itself. I don't think that it necessarily has to do anything with summer. It's just creators. There were certain people who put their dibs in for 110 Ben Hill Road and had access to the area, the road, people in the holler, people maybe not even in that specific area, that, they kind of wanted, they wanted to own everything that was going on up there. And it's weird. It's just weird. Hey, Captain, but I do want people to, remember, just remember things. Remember things. I don't know. My brain's tired. It's 3 hours and 30 minutes, and I thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, mods. I appreciate you guys so much. I do. I really do. And Twister, anytime you want to come up, just let me know. I mean, I don't know. Just email me, and that way we can just talk about, we'll show your stuff, show what you have of the area and all that, so I can ask you some questions for sure. All right, bye, whippersnappers.